and the bass keeps running, running, and 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 running, running.
Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Unrooted Cross Country Edition, and my guest for this week's show is none other than sophomore on the cross country team, Noble Boutin. Noble, thanks so much for joining me on the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Let's start by getting to know you a little bit better. Last year, you made your mark as a freshman here at Menlo, and you were relatively clean cut. Your hair wasn't quite as long as it is now. Now it's flowing out of the cap. What's brought on the change?
Actually, it's kind of funny. It originally started, it took about, I'm going to say 11 months to kind of full grow, but it pretty much, I had no plan to do it, but I just didn't want to pay for a haircut when I got down here. So I just kind of kept letting it grow, and at some point it stopped becoming like the Bieber flow and starts pushing back, and then I just kind of liked the look and I just kept it going, and it just I kind of liked the idea of having a flow, and then started bunning it up, and it all worked out from there.
So you go with the man bun.
When I race, yeah. Sometimes I put on a hat when I'm in training, bun it up, put on the hat, put it in between. Yeah, I get a couple of cat calls and stuff when I'm running, but it happens. So
how long are you going to let this go on for?
I don't really have a timeline.
Whenever you want to pony up for a haircut.
Yeah, I was always thinking about maybe letting it get long enough to where I could just donate it, and then cutting it all off, or being a little more selfish and just kind of cutting it off slowly and getting some different styles going on at the hair. But
you have a lot of options, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of making your mark, you've paced the Oaks at every single race since you got here as a freshman last year. What allows you to be so consistent on the course?
Most of it's training, consistent training. Part of it is, I think, we had some good guys last year too, and we have some great guys this year. Part of it, I just think, is I've been in the program a bit longer, and I've just been able to develop with the training specific to how we do it. And I think that has helped a lot, and staying healthy really is the key. I had a really inconsistent season last year regarding injuries. I was out for a week because I had a quad issue, and then I had an Achilles tendonitis, and that really set me back. So but I was still able to hold on. But then it got me thinking, if I could stay healthy and string all of those weeks I missed together and actually have a training block, a solid good training block, I figured that would help a lot, and it has helped a lot this season for sure.
Now, going into the classroom, there are many business related majors here at this business school we call Menlo. Yeah. You told me off the air you were undeclared. What are you leaning towards?
I kind of bounce back and forth. I'm probably leaning towards marketing. We'll see how it goes, though. I probably going to take next semester, take a couple of marketing, maybe a finance course, try and take something in international management to kind of dip my feet in. And then from there, I'll definitely make a decision. But who knows? Maybe I'll decide what I want to major in the next month or two, too. It's all up in the air. So
there are a lot of choices, and that's what happens sometimes. People who are undeclared, they have no idea, and then the next morning they wake up and go, I want to be a finance major.
Yeah,
I want to be a marketing major.
I will go out right now and say, it's not accounting. It's not going to be accounting.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the team at the San Francisco State Invite. You led the way for the Oaks. There were 4 freshmen who finished behind you. How has it been this year, kind of playing lead dog for the team, in the sense that, like you said earlier, you've been here longer than everybody else, but you're only a sophomore, and yet you're a veteran in front of these 4 freshmen? Yeah,
it's awesome because they kind of they're almost veterans in their own right from what they did in high school. They all have way better resumes from high school than I ever did, and I think they're going to be ready to pass me at any given day on any given race at some point soon. And their training's coming along well, so if we can keep them all healthy and we can all stay healthy, I think we got a really dangerous team coming up.
Yeah, it's looking good down the road because you still have 2 more years left, and they have 3 years, really 3.5, because we're still midway through their freshman year. So the future's looking up for you guys, no doubt. I'm sure temperatures this time around were not nearly as blistering as they were in the Argonaut Invite, so I bet that helped too, really kind of increase the times a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. It helps a lot, especially with time-wise. I like to call the times the cosmetic side of the race, but the real side of the race is really placing, and To be honest, yeah, racing in heat, it's a lot harder, but when you're racing and racing for places, everybody's got to deal with the heat, so you're all in the same boat. But it definitely makes the time a lot prettier. But again, if you got to get down and gritty, bring on the heat. We're all competing, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody's in the same boat, so can't let it hold you back.
Level playing field for sure in these events.
Oh yeah.
Now, speaking of improving on times, Rachel Valencia led the way for the Oaks on the women's side, and she improved her time by 90 seconds over the same meet 1 year ago. What impresses you about the women on the team improving so dramatically over every single race? Because it seems like that's where they're trending. Yeah, you know, they're beasts. I think they've been coming along really well in their training. A lot of it has been really consistent this season. They're always working hard in practice. I see them doing intervals. You know, they're hitting every rep too, and they're hitting their times, and they're putting in work, you know, and got to respect it, and it's showing. So I really appreciate all the work they put into and all the dedication they bring to the team in the weight room, outside of practice, at practice. It's all really inspiring, really. So now this is a question more so for me because I just genuinely don't know.
Yeah.
How does each course differ, and is there a preference for what you guys as a team prefer?
So I like to say when you get to the a D1 kind of fast, like an NCAA D1, you get to race on golf courses, which are hilly but still pretty flat, fast courses. And we get to race a couple of those, but a lot of what we do is we kind of get to run some hillier races, which is really awesome too for strength, because when you finally get to a flat course, you're just ready to roll. I can't really speak for the team. Everybody kind of has their own personal preference of whether they're better climbers than they are flat runners or something. I think we got a lot of guys that are pretty good with track speed though, flat track speed. So I'd say we all pretty much prefer a nice flat course. We got one coming up in mid-October, so I think everybody's going to feel really comfortable on that course and ready to drop a really, really good time. So yeah.
And the next invite for you guys, the Masters University invite, you'll be facing a lot of schools in the Golden State Athletic Conference and a lot of schools in the NAIA, which is a bit of a switch from what you guys have been doing here as of late. What do you know about this invite, and what kind of added pressure is there going up against some schools that you will be competing with for a national spot?
So the idea of doing this meet is to first, it was to get used to driving down to LA, because we actually do have our conference races down in LA, down in Irvine. So it's to kind of get us used to driving down there, racing, and then driving back. And it's also our conference preview for next season, next cross-country season. This will be the conference race. It's supposed to be fairly similar to what we're doing at conference this year. It's pretty flat with one pretty big hill, and then so it should be pretty fast. And also getting the competition, getting this kind of preview, a GSAC preview, is really awesome to kind of see what the other teams are made of. I think there's some really, GSAC is one of the best running conferences in NAIA, so I'm really excited to see what they can do and maybe get pulled a little bit for a good fast time and good placing, too. For sure. Gonna definitely helps you get motivated to compete a bit harder. So excited about that.
All right, Noble, let's get into the final segment of the show. It's called Brownie Bites. I'm going to ask you 3 random off-the-wall questions. You give me your best answer.
All right, let's do it.
Question number 1. Which member of the cross-country program would look the worst with your hair? Now, this can be a track athlete or it can be a coach.
Okay. So I'm going to say... just because he's recently gotten a buzz, and I think it looks really great on him, I'm going to say Ethan. He definitely rocks a clean cut look. I think he'd look great with a mullet.
Oh, boy.
But maybe not with the locks coming down the side and stuff,
Yeah.
That being said, I think there's a lot of guys who can rock that look. I think a lot of them are kind of into the idea of getting a mullet though. So I'm kind of wondering how that will turn out.
The question is, would you go with a mullet?
I prefer this look. I prefer this look. I don't know if I can rock a mullet. Maybe if I was growing a stash, maybe I'll get a mullet, stash like yours. If I can grow one of those at some point, I'd consider doing mullet. But I don't think that's happening in the near future.
So what you're saying is you want me to try and get a mullet, right?
You know, just dropping. All I can say is what I can say. You know?
I think one bad look is bad enough with the mustache. I don't think we want to go double bad. I don't think a double negative will create a positive here. I don't know. I almost don't want to try. Question number 2. Which teammate would be the best binge watcher of a Netflix show?
I'm going to go with both my Logans. I'm going to pick 2 here, Logan and Logan, Logan Pine and Logan Frazier. I think they definitely have that commitment it takes to really binge watch a show fully. Not to take that away from anybody else, but also I've seen them doing some of that in pretty good places. So, you know, it's like, you know, cafeteria, study hall, all that good stuff, you know.
Just can't put it down.
Just can't put it down. So I think they really have the dedication it takes to really binge watch a good Netflix show.
All right, question number 3. Which Menlo professor would make the best cross-country runner?
Let's think about this one.
You haven't been here too long, so you don't know all of them.
You know, I'm gonna go with my boy Mulvey. I think Mulvey's a badass. I think he's got this. Not to take away anything from any other professors, but I think Mulvey's a stud at heart, man. I think he could take it pretty well.
He could probably do that. The one I would throw out there would be Melissa Michelson, who does political science here.
Okay.
She ran in the 5K last year for Oktoberfest.
Oh yeah?
And she finished, I mean, not saying it's much of an accomplishment, but she finished past me. She beat me.
Wow.
And I think her time was somewhere around 25 minutes. So
dang, okay.
I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to her. I think she could do it because it looks like she stays in pretty good shape.
Well, if you're watching this, come out.
Yeah, we want to see you out there, Professor Michelson. All right, Noble, thanks so much for joining me on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure.
You're very welcome. And fans, the cross-country team in action, conference play this weekend. They're down in Santa Clarita Central Park, to be exact, for the Masters University Cross-Country Invite. It is on Saturday the 30th. 7:45 a.m. is the start time for that one, and then one event in October before the GSAC meet in Irvine on November 4th. Saturday at 9 a.m. We invite you to tune in to the next episode of Unrooted Cross Country Edition when Noble Boutin will select the next interviewee here on the show with me, Brian Brownfield. Until then, we'll see you next time, and take care.
And the bass keeps running, running, and 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 running, running, and